update here in a second, but nothing much to say. We got outplayed. We got outcoached. We did not. There are no excuses. Injuries, short week, whatever it is, that is not in any way, shape, or form our standard of what we want to put on the field. And we've got, as I told our team, we've got an opportunity in front of us where we need to own this. This is not a bury the tape kind of time for our organization. This is a watch it, view it, own it. Every coach, every player, and it starts with me. I did not have our team prepared to play, and we'll go back to many aspects of what we need to improve on from a standpoint. In many ways, shape, or form, on initial feel, it feels like a lot of technique, fundamentals, things that are correctable. I believe in our players wholeheartedly. I believe in every opportunity we have, we're going to go out there and put our best foot forward, both on the practice field and every opportunity we have as a team. I think we'll be able to get healthy in some spots here that are critical for our ability to have success. But once again, injuries and any other excuse, if you go looking for them, you'll find them. We will not be doing that. We're going to meet this head on as an organization, and that's what we're going to do. Injury-wise, Christian Darrisaw tried to give it a go. I want to commend him for trying to do that on a short week, coming off of what's been a trying time for him early on in the season after such a catastrophic, significant knee injury a year ago. Just couldn't continue to give it a go. Josh Oliver, X-rays were negative on his right foot, but we will need to MRI that foot, ankle, and see what's going on there. He's pretty sore. Jeff Okuda did get a concussion, and Jonathan Grenard got a right ankle. He'll also be evaluated tomorrow. Yeah. I think we've got to. There were some times where, we were down on the edges, at the tackle spot, but it felt like it was more than that to me. It felt like there was some sloppiness, like Blake said, in the interior, getting guys covered up, seeing if we could simply, execute our quick game. At times was more difficult than it should be, in some of those ball out plays. Trying to, avoid, certain. I would have liked to get more runs off, but it's a circumstance where you're also trying to make sure you're not walking yourself right into third and very, very long, with the need to try to get eligibles out and also protect on both edges. So it's a little bit of a, trying to figure out the best way to activate the healthy players we do have, in our receiving core and TJ in the passing game. But I got to do a better job, mitigating the challenges that we face in a game like we did tonight, and it wasn't good enough.
Carson looked like he was in pain. It was visibly a good part of the game.
Yeah, we kept on, checking in, maybe getting Max ready to go, but he, Tyler was coming to me a lot tonight, but every time he seemed to update me on that, Carson was, he was sore going into it, but he took obviously quite a few hits, but he was able to, I asked him multiple times, where he was at, and he said he was good and wanted to keep going. I know it did seem like he was, in pain there a few times.
Kevin, did you think about going to Max at all, independent of the injury stuff, just kind of basis of effectiveness?
Yeah, we did. I think, what you have to, Carson's a veteran player. He understands kind of some of our circumstances tonight. I think it's very difficult to ask, a rookie to go in there for his first performance and, have to be kind of weathering it, a little bit for the group. I did think about that at different times in the game, but at the same time, the confidence we have in Max and the upside we see in Max is real. We just, you also don't want to send him out there and force a level of kind of figure-it-outness that's probably beyond a guy playing for the first time. And that was kind of where the decision was to continue to go with Carson as long as, Carson felt like he was healthy enough to keep playing, and the medical team did as well.
How will you approach that
Yeah, I think, as we talked about earlier in the week, we worked out JJ and he was close, and JJ and the medical staff kind of didn't quite feel like he was there yet. But there was a lot of encouragement that, especially with the time we have, Kevin, and where he's at and the confidence level he thinks he can get to. If JJ's healthy, JJ will play. That's been the case since the injury. That's always been kind of my mindset, and I believe we're right. We're right. Hopefully around the corner from seeing him be healthy, have a week of preparation, and go compete, because that's really, that's what he wants, and that's what he's been working towards. I know there was a lot of estimates on what the injury timeline and everything with a high ankle. It ended up being, on the longer end, but about what we thought, and we'll see how Carson comes out tonight as far as what our overall quarterback depth looks like. But we will prepare. We'll prepare our team, at every position based upon what our health looks like. But we also need to be ready to go to work on the practice field and improve, because that is not, like I said, to our standard in any capacity.
Christian, it's something different with the new surface yesterday?
No, I think what it's, whether it was in London or in Dublin going to London and the high snap count, or it's just the fact that, we have Christian on a plan of attack every week based upon the idea of the type of injury he's coming back from. And I'm not going to go into detail with what that injury was, but I would just say there's a layer to Christian doing everything he can. But, when he has a higher snap count, or you're on a very, very short week with flight travel and everything, there's just only so much that we can do. And in regards to Brian, Brian worked his absolute tail off to get back, and with his right MCL, and just came out of the game with some left knee kind of swelling, maybe overcompensating, but just couldn't quite get that out of there. And both those guys I know, and because they've proven it before, both those guys would do anything to be out there with their teammates. And I am the furthest thing from a doctor. I know it's been debated, my medical prowess when it comes to our injured players playing or not. I very simply listen to our doctors and listen, more importantly, to our players as much as I possibly can.
Carson, just his toughness, what does it say about him that he didn't tap?
That's one of the reasons why. It's when a guy like that, a veteran guy that's in there competing, you have to value that. As long as the medical team, informs me, which they did a couple times, that, he's no worse than what he came into the game with. You've got to give a guy that wants to toe the line and go in there, you got to give him a chance to do that until it becomes he can't do his job. And I did think that last high throw when Justin was open on the high cross, maybe a healthy Carson Wentz hits that throw. But that's just kind of how the night was. We had an opportunity for a big-time explosive there, and we miss it. And there could be a lot of variables, factors involved. I thought it was, one of our cleaner pockets on that play. And though it just wasn't our night in any capacity, any way, shape, or form, from the interception being overturned early on to potentially having one of your biggest plays of the night turn into them having the ball at midfield. It was an avalanche of momentum for them that we tried to overcome. I like the fight to start the second half, from the turnover Metellus forces on the pick to putting that ball in the end zone there. We just, in no way, shape, or form, we're good enough tonight to win the football game as coaches or players. Yeah, I think I told our team there are no more trips overseas. There's no more short weeks. There's outside of late in the year, obviously for our second Thursday game, but I told our team this is, we're going to find out what we're all about and what this year's team is all about. I've always felt, Alec, a level of compete from our organization, a level of chasing growth throughout the season, regardless of result. You're hoping when you're winning 13 and 14 games, you're still always chasing getting better. But clearly, if you need a result to motivate you, that's not the type of organization we want to be. But certainly these circumstances will be we'll test what we're all made of. And I told our team, you know, when we get a chance to step out on that grass, make sure you're very aware that we're going back to work, and what this is going to look like is going to be a team that constantly chases improvement, and we need to after tonight. But I also told them, take honor in being a man in the arena and what that means. And I'll be, I told them first and foremost, I'm going to look myself dead in the eye in the mirror and make sure that, and I think they believe me when they say that my confidence level in this group is as high as it's ever been. But it's also important that we look ourselves in the eye after a performance like this and decide the path we're going to take. In the foxhole together, we will work. I don't know any other way than to, set a path and a course for this organization to find success. And I'm going to lean on our coaches, and I'm going to lean most importantly on the locker room and the players and what they've built in there to go attack this thing.
A lot of explosive plays that you guys have been giving up in the passing game. Is there a trend there? Is there something you can identify that's caused that?
Yeah, just talking to Flo late in the game and talking to our offense, I think across the board, we just need to evaluate what gives us the best chance to sustain, because it just felt like it wasn't our best performance or even an adequate performance in any phase. So I don't necessarily want to get into, the details of individual sides of the ball. But I will tell you, Matt, that it's, we've got to improve. And we've got to understand that what we're going to do moving forward is going to be the things hopefully we do well. And the techniques and fundamentals need to be trained and coached to match that and, get back to simple, basic things that lead to our talented players having a chance to go out there and win the down, win the drive, win the series, win the quarter, and compete for 4 quarters. I didn't question our team's competition or compete at all. It just felt like, we weren't good enough in any of our 3 phases tonight.
You talk about technique and fundamentals being an issue. What kind of things can you do to bring those up in the middle of short week and all this?
Yeah, well, hopefully, the good thing is next week won't be a short week. We'll get a chance to get out there on Monday. We'll get a chance to have 3 full days of practice after that. I thought our guys, 2 years in a row, these Thursday games, we've had very physical, kind of down to the end type of, games at home the week before against good teams. And then we just, I don't believe we ran out of gas tonight. I don't believe we did enough things well enough to fight the fight and match our willingness to compete with the, playing against a really good football team at home and not doing a lot of things that give you a chance to find and seek out the momentum and see if you can capture it and keep it. It's a real thing, and we let it get away from us early tonight and weren't able to get it back. Thank you.